You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Ian, look at this.
What, it's a police box. What on earth is he doing here? I mean, these things are usually on the street. I feel it. I feel it. You feel it?
Faint vibration.
It's alive.
Earth Station Who, a fun mashup celebrating nearly 50 years of Doctor Who universe. Hold tight. You never know where the TARDIS is going next.
You're probably a bit confused right now. I broke the glass. It's all come back to me.
What is this?
That's my ship.
What?
Let me take it from the top. Hello, I'm the Doctor. I'm a traveller in space and time. And that thing buried down there is called a TARDIS. Time and relative dimension in space. You're gonna love this.
Hey there, Earth Station Who listeners, and welcome to another episode. That's right, folks, we are back, and we are going back to the First Doctor era. That's right, we are talking about the Sensorites, a classic in itself. Well, something classical about it. It will be a lot of fun to talk about this one. Or as Matthew said in our last episode, God have mercy on your souls. It was when we told him what episode we were talking about. So it is going to be a lot of fun, and we are very happy because we have the return of our long-last companion. Welcome back to the show, Mary.
Yay! I'm back. It's so good to be back. I missed you guys.
We missed you too.
And a lot happened while I was gone.
We just left her on the ship for a few episodes, so that's.
Yeah, I was bad. I was in the brig.
Exactly. You were up on the spaceship for a couple episodes, waiting
like
to
Barbara.
hear from us. Yeah.
Yes.
So it is so nice to have you down here on the planet with us. It's great.
Barbara and I were off on holiday.
Exactly. That's not a bad way to be, though. That is totally not. But it is really good to have you back, Mary. You've been missed.
Oh, thank you so much. I missed you guys, too.
And, of course, as you heard, Mr. Mike Gordon is here, too.
Howdy! No one missed me.
No, you were here. Why would we miss you? It's if you weren't here, if you were on the ship with Mary, we'd miss you also. Sure. Maybe. Let's see. But yeah.
Probably.
I think so. We'd go,
most likely.
We go with howdy withdrawal, so it's okay. But we definitely would love to hear from you guys at home. How are you guys doing? Have you guys been surviving? How's the rest of your summer been since last we talked? Please write us feedback at earthstationwho.com. We definitely would love to hear from you guys. So, no real Doctor Who news since the last time we talked to you guys.
This is the last bombshell we dropped.
Exactly, the last bombshell we dropped. But, we've been hearing some feedback, and we've been, hearing from folks who they'd like to see as the new Doctor or who they want to see as the new showrunner. But we haven't talked to Mary about it. So I'd love to get your opinion about what was, first off, we didn't even get to really talk to you about the San Diego Comic-Con panel. And then, the bombshell that came out just a couple days later.
Yeah, I haven't even seen the San Diego Comic-Con panel because my life has been so crazy. I mean, I've heard about it, but I haven't even had a chance to watch it. I saw the new character. That's kind of intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
John Bishop, I could probably do without, but who knows? Give him a chance.
No, totally understand that.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all that Chibnall I am more surprised that Chibnall's leaving.
Really?
than that Jodie's leaving.
Oh.
Because I thought he might stick around for the 60th.
Yeah, I was hoping that Jodie was going to stick around to the 60th.
I was too, but I'm not. I mean, it's been 3 seasons, and traditionally,
well,
Well,
technically, she's going to have the 3 seasons and then the couple specials.
And the specials. I mean, well, the season's only going to be 6 episodes, so.
Yeah.
Though I think, to be positive about it, it's probably going to be a better format for Chibnall. He likes the sort of, miniseries type format, limited episodes and an arc across all of them. So I'm going to be positive and think that this is a good format for him and that he's going to show us something special. I hope so anyway.
Oh yeah. Well, fingers crossed, toes crossed. Are you, because I know we've all been pretty big fans of Jodie the whole time she's been here. We haven't been happy with some of the stories, but we've not really had much complaint about her. Did you, what are your thoughts, now that she's announced it, that she's leaving, what kind of legacy do you think she's going to have?
I think Jodie in and of herself is going to leave a fantastic legacy. I think her seasons, her stories, not so much. Because a lot of them were just kind of middle of the road. They weren't the worst I've ever seen, but they certainly weren't the best I've ever seen. But Jodie, a lot of times, rose above the material. I mean, I think she was fantastic all the way through, and I think she's going to be remembered as a great doctor who got a bit let down by the material she had to work with, but she did the best she could.
Fair enough. That's definitely true. I agree with that. And it's interesting because we've said that most of the time. I think with a different showrunner, she might have shined even more than she did. And, I would have loved to have seen her even with Moffat or RTD, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow. I would have loved that. I really wish we could have got that because I mean, especially her first season, I felt like she was just really held back. As much as we loved Graham.
Always loved Graham.
Yeah.
I still burn a candle at night for him.
Yeah. Don't we all? My last prayer every night is for Graham. But yeah, I just feel like she started to emerge more in the second season, especially towards the end. So, but that first season, that was a letdown for me in terms of allowing her to shine. Even though she tried her darndest to really get past that, and she definitely made an impression anyway, even when she wasn't given, the best lines or as much screen time as I felt she deserved.
Or playing second fiddle to the companions in some cases.
Yeah, in a lot of cases, yeah.
I think she suffers from the same, affliction, we'll say, that Colin Baker suffered from, is that the powers that be were writing a different sort of doctor and experimenting and didn't really get a chance to really show us what the actor could do with that role.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And I think even if you listen to Colin Baker in the audios and for Big Finish, you really get much more of a sense of how good a doctor he could have been with the right material, because he's great in the Big Finish stories.
I don't know if you got a chance to listen to, or if you've heard Jubilee, but that was the last thing we did. And that opened my eyes. It's the best Colin Baker doctor story I've ever seen or heard. It's just amazing, and he's great in it.
Very true.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a huge difference if you have good material to work with.
Well, and I've been banging that drum for years that Colin actually became a truly great doctor on Big Finish. And now let's hope maybe in 5-6 years, maybe Jodie can follow the same path.
Maybe. Sort of a semi-related bit of news. It was released, I guess, a week or so ago that Big Finish is going to produce some 12th Doctor stories, but they are recasting the 12th Doctor. Peter Capaldi apparently has no interest right now in doing audios. But they want to go forward with some 12th Doctor stories. So they've hired a very young actor to play the 12th Doctor. And I don't know, I'm really surprised by that. I thought for some reason I don't know what, I guess because I just knew he was an uber fan of Doctor Who, I thought Peter would jump at the chance to do audios, but apparently for some reason he doesn't. I think he's gone record as saying he doesn't care to do audio adventures.
Well, he's already come out also and said he's not going to do the 60th anniversary either.
Yeah. So that's, well, I mean, for that, I kind of like he's going to tell us.
No.
Yeah, well, he basically said he didn't like multi-doctor stories.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? You can't. They say things like that all the time, and then it's not true.
Yes.
So
Who knows?
Yeah, I don't think none of them. He's not going to pull a Tom Baker and be like, "Guess what? I'm on the next one." Like he's not.
Yeah.
No.
But I hope Peter's run is not completely over. We thought Chris would not ever do audios, and sure enough, now he's doing audios. So
yeah, I mean, he's jumped right in. And
Yeah,
good ones.
I actually
At least
just
the ones
picked
we've
up.
listened to.
I just picked up the second Big Finish that he did.
the new one with the Cybermen.
No, that's the third one they just announced. That
Gotcha.
one. No, the second one just came out about a week and a half ago, and I picked up that. It was $19, and then I pre-ordered the new River song where she's with Unit and the Third Doctor.
Cool.
That's gonna be great.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a really fun one.
Mm-hmm. So I guess we got to keep on going, folks.
Got to keep on listening to that theme song.
Exactly. Bah, bah, bah.
Ah!
Exactly.
Yeah, man. You know what? If there is a drinking game to Earth Station Who, I'm sure that people drink either A, when we praise Graham, which we've already done this episode, and B, when we mention how much we hate the River Song theme song for Big Finish, which we've just done.
We're two for two, folks.
Exactly. So drink up, fans.
Exactly. As we all take a swig of something. So that's pretty darn awesome. So yeah, I would love to, for those who haven't seen Suicide Squad yet, Capaldi's in it, and he plays the Thinker. And that's all I want to say about it, because...
Yeah, you were not as kind as I was.
No, I was not.
But I thought Capaldi was great.
I'm glad you did. So there you go. But he met his match with a starfish. So it's a starfish. So it was interesting, and I would love to hear audios with him. I think he'd be fantastic at it. Give him a couple years. Yeah.
I assume that this is just a temporary setback. By in a few years he'll come around as well. But
they've done Ninth Doctor adventures with other actors playing the Ninth Doctor on Big Finish.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, they had 11th Doctor too.
Yeah, that's very true.
And Capaldi has actually been very, very busy.
Well, he has been busy, but I know some people. I wonder if he's still PO'd, because some people say that when he didn't want to leave Doctor Who, and they pretty much forced him out the door. And so, with the new regime change, because Chibnall wanted a new doctor for
Everything.
his role.
Yeah. Look how well that worked out.
Yeah. Well.
But yeah.
Touche. So.
Yeah. Well, I don't think anybody could have as big of a mad-on against the BBC and the Doctor Who producers than Chris did.
No.
So if Chris is willing to come around, and I don't think he had any real, affection for the character prior to his being the Doctor. So I think, it's just a matter of time before, especially if they allow, I would imagine, like, if Big Finish really opens the doors and maybe even lets Peter write an episode or something, like, I just can't see that, he would say no to that.
I would say hell froze over, but it's way too hot here for it to.
I mean, time heals all wounds. I am not going to be surprised at all if in a few years we have Peter Capaldi audios.
And Jodie, too, getting back to that. I mean, Jodie, I think, it would be lovely to see more different, things, different stories with her that are not Chibnall related.
Yeah, agreed. I agree with that completely, actually. So, we'll have to see. I'm hoping. So
yeah, I'm more interested in seeing, I'm interested in seeing who the next Doctor is, of course, but I'm really interested in seeing who the next showrunner is, because I think that actually makes a bigger difference in the quality of the
I think we've definitely learned
show.
that.
Yeah, I'm beyond guessing who they're gonna have, as the new Doctor. I'm more, like Mary said, I'm more concerned who the showrunner is, what kind of ties they have to the TV show, and actually who, not just if they're a fan, but if they know the material, know, the thing. Because, yeah, maybe they should get some younger blood in. I'm totally for that. Or somebody who, has maybe worked on other shows, not in the UK even, I would even say. But, I'm not opposed to that. But I know BBC has their thing. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, who knows what they're looking for? At this point, there's no easy answer candidates. Chibnall was kind of like that makes sense, right? At the time, because he had written some episodes of Doctor Who. He had sort of expressed interest before, and I don't think any of us were shocked when he was announced as the showrunner. Same thing with, Stephen, but there's no quote unquote heir apparent. There's no heir apparent to step into that role. So, and it could be somebody, it depends on what the BBC wants. Do they want the franchise to be brought back to its former glory, or do they want to go in a completely new direction?
Please don't be Mark Gatiss. Please don't be Mark Gatiss. Please don't be Mark Gatiss. Oh, did I say something? Who knows? So, yeah. Because if we get that, we'll get more of the, sleep monsters or whatever.
Hey, not all his episodes were bad.
Yeah,
Horror is one of my favorite episodes.
I'm not a Gatiss hater. So
no, there's a lot of things I love that Gatiss has done.
But from what I understand, he is not want the job. So
no, I know.
Yeah.
Well, he's close. I know with Moffat, and he saw what Chris went through. And also what Stephen has gone through, and so he's seeing being roasted. Who would want that? Who would want to be killed by fandom like that?
Yeah, and he's pretty busy with other projects too.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, I think he and Stephen are still working on a couple of other things right now, so
including the new Sherlock, possibly. So that's been in the hopper for a little bit. So
yeah,
I wouldn't say no to that. So
no, not at all.
So yeah, so it'd be very interesting. I'll be very curious to see where it goes. Definitely would love to hear from you guys at home. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Are you, curious to see if they have this or not? Oh, before we do get out of this segment, though, we do have an announcement. We are going to be doing a live panel at DragonCon. We actually have a time now. We are on Saturday at 11:30 a.m. through the Brit Tracks, and we are going to be doing the 25th anniversary of the Doctor Who movie. So we will be talking all about our wonderful, Paul McGann as the 8th Doctor, and Sylvester.
Don't you mean your wonderful Eric Roberts?
Who? You mean that flamboyant monster that was pretending to be the Master? I so wish they would have, because they had Anthony Ainley do a version of the opening, but I think that was fan made. I don't think it was for the actual movie, when he was standing trial and everything. And that would have been so awesome if they would have done that for that. But it's going to be a lot of fun. We got a great crew. Sadly, Mary will not be with us for that this year.
Oh, well.
And I think we should point out too, with especially everything that's going on with the Delta variant and everything like that, we understand that a lot of our fans will probably not be able to attend DragonCon as usual. So do not worry, because I believe there's a virtual, if you watch the virtual programming, we have already provided a panel for them. So
yes,
you can still see Earth Station Who as part of the virtual program.
And all three of us were part of that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it's not about the Ninth Doctor, so you don't have to worry about any Eric Roberts hate.
Actually, Mikey, it is about the Ninth Doctor. We're not
Was
talking
it?
about we did the panel on the Ninth Doctor, we're doing the Eighth Doctor at Dragon Con.
Right. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, we talked about, for the virtual panel, we're talking about Chris Eccleston's first foray into Big Finish.
Yes.
Right. That's right. Okay, so.
And actually, it's going to be a lot of great. And we're going to try to get that one up here on the podcast, the audio for it. So you should be able to hear that probably over the next couple of weeks. So fingers crossed. I've greased a couple palms, and I bought some Jimmy Dodgers for the Brit Track staff. So hopefully, they'll have little cookies with jam in it. It'd be really cute. So the Jimmy Dodgers are with them. So we'll have to see. But until then, please write us feedback at earthstationwho.com. We definitely would love to hear from you. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back with the Sensorites.
Time to grab your pillow and join the Geek Father and Little Bit for discussions on current, nostalgic, and speculative happenings in pop culture. Nerd news, fandom histories, deep dive discussions, reviews, and more. It's like listening to your closest friends have a nerdy conversation. So sit back, relax, and let the Blurred Nerds podcast embrace you with their warm, goofy goodness. It's Nerd Goals for your ear holes, right here on the ESO Network.
Welcome to Dr. Geek's Laboratory.
Dr. Geek here with another reminder that the ESO Network is pro-science and pro-vaccine. We urge you to be a superhero and protect yourself, your family, and your fellow geeks around the world. Don't be fooled by the forces of evil and their anti-science misinformation campaign. Consult the latest CDC guidelines, your doctor, and get the COVID vaccine today.
Welcome back. Now we are going back to June 20th, 1964, all the way through August 1st. A six-parter. Just what we love with the First Doctor stories. They are amazing, and we are talking about the Sensorites, folks. That's right. This was actually my first time watching this one. I don't think I'm going to be watching this one again. Real soon.
That was it. That was enough for you.
It was a one and done for me.
One and done.
What about you guys? Is this your first, or have you seen this one?
my first, probably my last. But I didn't hate it. Actually, it just dragged on.
Yeah, this was one of them that could have easily been a four-parter.
Or how about a two-parter?
This is my first time as well, and I'm sort of with Mary. I didn't hate it, and I don't think necessarily it was too long, but it should have the story should have been structured differently, because man, that ending seems like it was really tacked on. Like if they had started working on the ending with the humans, in the third episode or fourth episode, it probably would have flowed a little bit better, I think. But instead, it just sort of seemed to come out of nowhere. It's not the Sensorites that are really behind it. It's humans after all. And it's oh, wow, you just kind of slapped that in there.
Yeah, it did come out from nowhere.
And they resolved it so fast. I was thinking, as I was watching that last episode, I was thinking, is this really the last one, or does it go on? And then sure enough,
please
we're
don't
done.
let it go on. Don't let it go on.
No,
that was strange.
I thought it was, okay. I enjoyed watching the First Doctor. I think William Hartnell was pretty decent in this one. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say something that I didn't think I'd ever say, but this might be my favorite Susan story that I've ever seen. I think she was I didn't find her annoying at all.
She didn't scream.
She didn't
No,
scream.
she didn't.
She had something to do. She developed a nice power, and she was useful, and
she was psychic for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was reading minds left and right.
Yeah, she had sort of that capability, or at least it was, developed that she was, and I don't know if it's ever used again. Hopefully, if the series didn't pick up on it, hopefully Big Finish did, but I found her interesting, and at first I thought, oh, we're not going to get Barbara a lot because Barbara's usually, since this is post Aztecs, this is Barbara's one of the strongest members of the crew. Cast and crew, by the way, and yet she disappears, I think, in the second episode, and we don't see her again to the end, which is kind of unfortunate. But like I said, Susan does a pretty good job, and even back then they had difficulty juggling this many companions, and it seems like they always need to find an excuse to have one of them disappear for a few episodes. Yeah, it's so funny. Like, it's the first season. And they run across this issue, and here we go, over 50 years later, and Chibnall still has the same problem.
They still haven't learned.
They
just never learn.
It's like too many companions really is just not a good thing, and it just makes more work for you guys. It makes it more difficult for them. So, and they don't usually handle it very well. But
agreed.
Yeah. And look, I'm glad it was in black and white because the Sensorites would have looked really dopey in color.
Oh my God.
I love the feet, the flat, round feet.
The feet were great.
They must have been designed by Rob Liefeld or something like that.
And they all played by actors who were like twigs of people. Like, they were like the thinnest people they could find, I think.
No body fat on you. No. And it was just funny because you could see their mouths moving underneath the masks too. And it was just like, oh, this is really bad.
They tried to hide it by putting beards there, but it doesn't work.
Yeah, I just kept thinking that would be annoying, talking through all that hair all the time.
You did have one scream from Susan, by the way, when you first saw the Sensorites on the outside of the spaceship.
Oh,
and they were at the window.
And they're waving through the window.
And they're like,
hi.
Yeah.
The first Elder was interesting, especially with his little cross ribbon.
Yeah, his double slash.
I couldn't tell if he reminded me more of the Martian Manhunter or Impossible Man. He was dressed as either one. I don't know. I don't know which is older, so I don't know if this was the inspiration for either one of those, or if there was just something about aliens that, let's put them in cross sashes, and that'll
as you do,
as you do, right?
Exactly. Put them in. That's how you can identify him from the other ones. I have 2 slashes. My second in command has 1 slash, and the city council president has a collar. It's
they didn't have any other way to distinguish them. I mean, they even make kind of a reference to that in the story. You just put a sash on another one, and you can't tell.
It was a plot point.
Exactly.
And I like how they it took an outsider to realize that, you know what? They can't tell us apart.
Wait a minute.
We can't even tell each other apart. That's amazing.
Oh, that gets so into stereotypes. Oh, they all look the same to me, So it was really, there was a lot of stereotyping in this.
Yes, but there was a lot of subtext with that. And I thought some of that stuff was remarkably relevant. I thought as far as this society where, outsiders are coming in, especially once you attach a virus to it. I just thought, I couldn't help but think, my God, here's a divisive, a race that's divided by a virus that's attacking their people. I'm like, where have I seen that recently?
Wait a minute.
Yeah, exactly. I was just like, damn. And one side was, hey, we're trying to deal with it. The other side was, everybody's against us. I'm like, this is so weird.
Well, it's interesting too, because the leader was very trusting of the humans right away.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And even the number 2 was, until he was killed. But, it was interesting too, because, this story was actually based a lot on some events that happened in the 1950s where they ran into soldiers who thought World War II was still going on, and was trying to sabotage more of the Japanese because they were stuck on the
isolated on islands.
Isolated islands.
That's the part that seems like it was thrown in at the last minute, though. Like that, there's no lead into that at all until all of a sudden they run across two humans at the end. It's like, oh, and then quickly that's wrapped up. Like that was just very strange.
I had a suspicion about that, though, especially with the monsters in the cave, and that then when the leader said that there was 3 of them that were fighting against the other 2 that were trying to take off from the ship, and that they were destroyed on the way up, and that supposedly the other 3 made it onto the ship. It's like, no, they're behind this. It was pretty obvious.
But yet they give you a lot of reason to think that the city administrator is behind it.
Not poisoning his own people, I wouldn't think.
I don't know. He was down there.
Yeah,
when the doctor
I thought he was the one behind it until the humans showed up.
I thought at least he was in league with them in some way. But I don't know. It got all convoluted and messy at the end. There definitely could have been a way to make this a little bit smoother as far as the story goes. But the elements themselves are not bad. And I broke it up into 2 nights, an hour and a half here, an hour and a half there. And I got to say that it didn't drag as much to me that way.
Yeah, I broke it up too. And I was thinking, while I was watching it, I said, it's really unfair for us to review them in the way that we watched them, because we watched them all at once or close to all at once. Whereas really they were supposed to be spaced out a week apart. And that and that makes a difference. You tell a story in a different way when you do that. And so it's no wonder it seems slower to us when we watch it in a block. Like that.
Absolutely. We're running across that now, where a lot of people are like, it depends on what streaming service you have. Some shows you just binge all at once, and some you have to watch like weekly, and there's like backlash against one or the other because it's people are used to watching it one way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if watching this weekly would have made this any better.
You're just Mike's like, no, it was bad.
No. There was
just would have dragged it out longer.
Yeah, exactly. It would have would have drawn out my torture 6 weeks, basically. And I love you guys. I really do. But come on, you're giving this too much credit.
I actually think that it would have been pretty interesting if they had done like parallel storylines of the humans, and their plot to poison the city because they don't really understand the aliens, and the aliens not trusting the humans for actually understandable reasons.
Yeah, I mean, Doctor Who usually does, like when they break up the crew, usually some companions end up with one side and some companions end up with the other side. So you get to see both angles at it. And they didn't really do that in this case. So we don't get to see the humans down there and what they're doing until it's like I said, way too late in the story. So I think like I said, I think a lot of the issues that the stories bring up are so relevant today. It's crazy.
I think the concept was good. I mean,
I agree.
The execution, maybe not so much, but
no,
I think there were some interesting ideas there, and I like that they didn't make the Sensorites just out and out bad guys. I mean, there's some nuance there. There's a reason why they act the way they do. They have a reason to distrust.
Mm-hmm. Oh, very much so. That, as they said, they welcomed the humans with open arms 5 years ago, and then they basically from that point on, their people started getting sick, and they were blaming the humans for it. And that's why they had captured the ship in space around. And they were even kind to those people. They were feeding them. And, even though they put them into deep sleep, that was almost looked like a heart.
Sort of a mixed bag there. Yeah, they're kind, but they're keeping them
and I'm not
sedated
sure
all the
John
time.
would say they were kind.
Exactly.
I mean, they basically drove him insane.
Yeah, at least, the doctor and the companions, oh, they're dead. Let's burn the bodies or something at the very
Hit him with a rock.
Yeah, exactly.
There was a time, when Ian went down, the doctor was at first kind of looked at him like, yeah, well.
Win some, lose some,
I mean, I got a whole planet of companions. I don't need you.
Exactly. But, I love it at the end. Oh, you're not happy with where we go? You're out of here. The next place we stop.
Yeah, unfortunately, we won't be able to see that. But.
Not this time, but that's on our list to watch still.
Reign of Terror?
No, next is Planet of the Giants, actually.
Oh, I thought that Reign of Terror was the next storyline.
Hold on, I will tell you real quick. Next is...
Which we've seen.
Oh, it is Reign of Terror. Because at the end of it, I guess because Reign of Terror isn't, available, that's why it was Planet of the Giants.
Yeah, if you were watching on BritBox, they don't have a lot of the animated ones, so...
Right.
It would just go right into the next one that they have live action for, so...
Right. Well, Reign of Terror we did review a while back because they had the wonderful animated. Actually, that's one of the worst animated ones I think we saw.
It is, which is unfortunate because it really is a good. I like that story.
But we all did. I think
Yeah.
I'm almost pretty sure that we all loved that story.
Can they get the new animated crew to redo that?
Yeah, really.
I think that would be much better. But that was. Because at that time, I think they were pretty much, going back and forth between historical and
sci-fi.
Yeah, sci-fi future ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it was every other one. Although, because right before this is the Aztecs, and Barbara's still kind of feeling the effects of that.
Exactly. It would have been interesting if, that something about it, like she had Montezuma's Revenge or something. That's why she wasn't in the episodes or something. I've got a stamp on the spaceship here, because I can't get it to the tar.
No, I think that befell Ian. He drank the bad water in this one.
Oh, he did. One thing I found very interesting. When at the very first episode, when they revived the crew and they basically said, oh, where are you guys from? And, Earth. Oh, we're from Earth too. And they said, when? And it's like, and they went 20th century. And they didn't even blink an eye that they were time travelers.
Yeah,
they were just like, oh yeah, we're 400 years in front of you. So that's why we're better at this. Snooze.
Okay.
Exactly, because I think they were 800 years, because I think they said the 28th century or something like that.
Yeah, I think they said 28th.
So it's just like, okay, I guess they're accepting of time travel at this point, but they couldn't get out of the loop, out of that orbit where they got. But yeah, it wasn't the worst First Doctor story we've seen by far.
No,
no singing.
No. Touche, Mr. Gordon. Touche. But yes, we have that coming. We had that coming up in the history of Doctor Who, if you were going in order. But it was interesting to see. Some of the characters were great. I love. It's awesome to see Ian. Ian is just such an awesome character, both him and Barbara. And, I think that's one of the things that made the show was how strong each one of them were in their own way. And I like that about them. And this again, Ian, even though he was poisoned and, for an episode, he still got off his butt and he tried to save the Doctor.
Yeah, he is a man of action. I don't know. I think to me, like Ian gets actually, even though he's in it more than Barbara is, I don't know if he really, other than getting sick, I don't know if he really added to the story much. So I can't really, say that out of all the companions, I think he's probably the weakest one for me in this one. And like I said, I really I really like Susan. She has that wonderful scene where she's talking to the first elder, and she talks about like she tells them that she and their grandfather are not from Earth, and it's been a while since she's seen their homeworld. And she goes into that beautiful description about how the sky is a burned orange and the leaves and the trees are bright silver. And it's really quite a nice moment. And I don't know if prior to that we got any sort of reference as to visually what Gallifrey looked like. I don't even know if it was called Gallifrey.
Yeah, I don't think it was even called Gallifrey yet.
No, I don't think it was called Gallifrey until the end of the Second Doctor era.
And then later on, at the end of the episode, she's kind of feeling it, and she's sowing the seeds, I think, for her eventual departure from the show. But she says, "I'm kind of bummed because my powers are going to kind of go away after we leave this sector." And he's like, when we go home, we'll get that, we'll have them develop that, you can develop that. And she's like, are we going to go home? And he's kind of like,
eventually,
he's like, eventually, it depends on this old rust bucket. And then Ian comes and insults the rust bucket, and the Doctor takes offense. And then there we go. No, I thought, I think if Susan was treated more like in this way, both in the relationship that she and the Doctor had in this whole storyline, as well as just giving her something valid to do, I think I would have appreciated that character a lot more. Certainly, I did in this story more than I have in any of the others.
Well, I think it helped that Barbara wasn't there.
Well, sure.
It allowed Susan to shine. She did, I think, some of the things that Barbara might have done.
Yeah,
in the script.
Exactly.
She got to take care of and lean over Ian all the time.
Yes.
Well, exactly, and that was the interesting thing. This was just her turn to go on vacation for 3 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
For styling and everything, and so they wrote her out for it because they do that. If you watch
periodically,
these exactly, if there's Dr. Light stories, or Susan's off being held captive somewhere, or Ian's somewhere, with a sprained ankle, or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, they did that quite often, and that was the interesting part about the show, and because they made so many more stories also than they do now. So.
Oh yeah, they were filming, almost year round.
Exactly.
Yeah, when when I was watching this, Michelle looked over and it had the title on BritBox of the episode and season 1 episode. I think it was like 34, and she's like 34. Like she's like, how many episodes are in a season back then? And I was like, a lot.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So it was really, really interesting. And do you know if when they filmed them back to back? They didn't do, or did they do them weekly?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. I think they were just pounding them out. It doesn't feel like these don't feel like they were filmed back to back. They feel like they were filmed per episode.
Mm-hmm.
That would make sense, type thing. So it'd be curious to see, because then, if that was the case, Barbara had a nice 1 month vacation.
That's true.
I mean, they obviously weren't doing reshoots because they were flubbing lines right and left.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Oh, especially the first Doctor, he was notorious for it.
Mm-hmm.
Hartnell was. So, and because then they didn't say, oh, cut, let's redo that scene again, type thing. They just went and everything. And so it was interesting. So, all right, before we, tear this any more down or ponder wirelessly, let's go ahead and rate this one. 1 out of 5 TARDISes, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. Mikey, go ahead.
Well, no tearing down here. I'm going to give it a solid 3. It's not the best, as we pointed out, but it's not the worst either. It's that middle ground. I'd say for, if you're interested in William Hartnell Doctor stories, it's pretty decent. I mean, he's pretty much on it throughout most of this story. And even when he gets attacked and his coat is ripped to shreds. Now he keeps that cape for a while. I know he keeps that cape into the next story. I don't even know if he ever goes back to the jacket. But I appreciated his part in it, and of course, as a Susan story, I don't think it gets much better. So yeah, I give it a solid 3.
Cool. I'm pretty sure he does go back to multiple jackets. Yeah. And
well, he does say he has a bunch of them on the TARDIS.
Exactly.
But he does love that cape, and he does work it. And like I said, doesn't he have the cape in the next storyline?
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
He does carry that into it.
The Reign of Terror. He goes to France with it.
But then he gets the French military jacket in that one.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, he gets that whole costume.
Right. So, all right, Mary, what you about?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. I think also it's a 3. It's very middle of the road for me. It's not the worst. It's not the best. It's not a bad Heart and All episode, like Mike was saying. And it's actually quite a good Susan episode. I think, for that alone, it's probably worth watching. I probably won't watch it again. It does kind of drag. But there's some nuance to the story. It's not, I don't think it's the worst written thing. I think it could be better, but it's not the worst. So yeah, I think it's about middle of the road, 3.
Damn it, I hate when I agree with you guys. I really do.
I thought you were going to tear it down.
Yeah, I thought you were going to give it like a 1.
I know. The way you were acting, it was like, yeah.
No.
Minus 2.4.
It was too long for me. It really, really was. And, this easily could have had 2 episodes cut off and a, better thought out ending. But I loved seeing how protective the first Doctor was of Susan in this one, especially the first couple episodes of this. When she was going to go off with the Sensorites, she was going to sacrifice herself and go down to the planet and, to protect the others. I thought that was awesome. And then the Doctor, no. And he literally got right into their faces. And it was like, that was just awesome.
It was the first time they had an argument. And I'm not sure if that holds up, but, the idea is nice.
Exactly. Well, it was interesting, too, because this was also one of the times they mentioned other adventures before Ian and Barbara, too.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they never really had before that. And, so that was very interesting to see. And I enjoyed that part. And like you said, like we've all said, I really liked seeing the Doctor like this. He was not the weak old man. He was right there trying to figure out what was poisoning the planet, what was hurting the people. And he was also trying to save Ian at the same time, but he was also trying to help everybody. Because sometimes, he is like the doddering old man and, he's like, lets everyone else do everything. But these like series of 3 with Aztecs, this one in Reign of Terror, he was awesome in it. He really, really was.
Yes.
And so that's what brought mine up to a 3. So, I surprised you. So
did.
There you go.
You did.
Ha ha ha.
And I bet I don't know if he's listening to this, but I bet we surprised Matthew Kretzel because he was thinking like, he was thinking he was acting like we were going into the pit. We were going down into the pits where the monster was, the aqueducts. He was acting like that was our fate.
Yeah, well, I will admit it. I was doing some design work while watching this, so I wasn't paying attention. I was like looking over my laptop at it. I was on the TV, but it still wasn't bad. It really, really wasn't bad. And I did it in 2 parts also. What did you guys think at home? We definitely would love to hear that. Please write us feedback@ourstationwho.com. Please let us know what you guys think. As always, we want to thank you guys for listening. This has been a fun one for us to talk about tonight. And, we'll be back again in 2 weeks. And as we move along, we're getting closer and closer, hopefully to a new series. Maybe. maybe.
Maybe.
And we also have Dragon Con coming up in less than 3 weeks. So we're going to be there too. So if you see us, please say howdy. We definitely would love to see you. Mike and I will be there. And we've got a list of panels we'll be posting up on Facebook, on our personal pages, and probably on Earth Station 1 and also in Earth Station Who. So definitely look for us. Check us out. And if you're not going, please check out the virtual panel we're doing featuring the Ninth Doctor Big Finish Adventures. So it should be a lot of fun. On behalf of myself, Mike Faber, I want to thank Mike Gordon for being here.
As always, it's my pleasure.
Do you want to promote a certain thing you have going on, my friend?
Oh, I would love to. Thank you so much. I'm not sure how many people in the Doctor Who sphere this will affect, but I appreciate any support that I can get. I've started my Kickstarter for the Tiki Zombie 10-year Tiki-versary, we're calling it, special comic that I'm producing. And it started, it's been a little bit less than a week, and we've already had a tremendous amount of support. I'm really appreciative of everybody who supported. Kickstarter named us one of the quote-unquote projects they love. So that was really nice to see. And we'll put a link in the show notes, and you guys can check it out as well. But I really am thankful and appreciate all the support that has been given so far.
That is awesome. That is really, really awesome. I also wanted to, congratulate you. You're at 90% already, dude. That's pretty awesome.
90%, 27 backers, like I said. But as you pointed out on ESO, there's, even if we meet the goal, you can still have time to get the book. So it's not as if, we made our goal, like it's over. No, this is for, trying to get the word out there about the book itself. And we want to get that in the hand of as many people as possible. And we're not through until the mid-September. So there's plenty of time to jump on and be part of the celebration.
That is awesome. That is really awesome, dude. I wish you the best for it. And let's blow past that goal. Let's get way past it, dude. You deserve it. You really do. So that is cool. And of course, Mary, the show never felt complete without you. We're so happy to have you back.
I'm so happy to be back. I really missed you guys. I need my Doctor Who fix.
So definitely. And, next time, hopefully we'll have better Doctor Who to talk
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah. This was a great one to welcome you back to, Mary. You want to promote your stuff real quick?
You can find me my artwork at maryogle.com or on Etsy at eVision Arts.
Excellent. Mary does amazing stuff, and actually, I can admit it here now that I just purchased the Earth Station 1 t-shirt that she created for us a couple years back. So I got it as a baseball jersey. So you'll probably see me wearing it at Dragon Con this year. So should be a lot of fun. And so we got some, cool stuff up at our TeePublic store. Check it out. You can get there through the ESO Network link. Or just go TeePublic and type in ESO Network or ESO Broadcasting Network as it's listed up there. So just definitely check it out because we got some Earth Station Who stuff, some Doctor Who stuff, and so it's pretty cool. And, we even have a t-shirt that says, I wear a fez now. Fezzes are cool. So it's pretty cool, which is a very famous t-shirt. So we will be back in 2 weeks. We will talk to you then. Until then, my name is Mike Faber. Stay safe. Love your hug ones. No, hug your loved ones. And you know what? Get vaccinated, folks, please. Let's get back to normal. We'd like to get society back on feet and not have to worry about wearing masks all the time and have to, socially distance. I want to see my friends. I want to go to dinner with everyone. I want to, do all the stuff, but I'm not doing it till, everyone is safe. And that's not going to happen for quite some time. So until then, I'm going to go travel off in my TARDIS. Peace. And I am done.
Woo-hoo.
You have been listening to Earth Station Who, a bi-weekly pop culture podcast dedicated to all things Doctor Who, featuring talents from across the universe. All topics on the show are the sole opinions of the individual and are used for entertainment value alone. You subscribe to our podcast up on iTunes, Stitcher, or follow our blog at www.esopodcast.com. You can also follow us up on Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. If you enjoyed the show, please leave feedback up on iTunes.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.